Welcome to this new episode of our Student Spotlight series, where we showcase some of the work that our students have done. My name is Charlotte. I'm one of the outreach coordinators here at CCIR, and it's our pleasure today to have with us Elisa. Elisa, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? So where you're from, what grade you're in, your age?
Yeah, of course. So thank you, Charlotte, for hosting this meeting. I'm so happy to be here. And yeah, well, I'm Elisa. I'm a senior in high school. I'm 17 years old, and I'm from Chile. And yeah, I am. Well, I'm really. I could say that I can define myself in terms of being really into science. And well, during this past year, I've been getting involved into, for example, computer science and quantum computing, but also looking for new avenues in science such as neurobiology. So really happy to have been involved in the program.
And then can you tell us the course that you did? So Elisa did one of our Cambridge Future Scholars Program courses. So can you tell us the name of the course and then the professor that taught the course, and kind of a general overview of what the course was about?
Yeah, of course. So, well, I was involved in the course that it was called Regenerative Neurobiology and Gen Therapy with Dr. Bart Nieuwenhuis, and also Elisa Merlini as my TA. So I was really, really happy to be with them. Of course, I didn't know them, but during the program, I could get, I don't know, their feedback, their advice in terms of how can I improve. So really happy about that.
And then can you tell us a little bit about the project that you did? So what the title of it was and kind of what it was about and your experience with the research?
Yeah, of course. So during the program, we were kind of looking to different sort of as well avenues of neurobiology. It was honestly my first time going into sort of this topic. So I was really kind of nervous at first. And afterwards, I was like, okay, I'm getting used to this. Perhaps I can learn by myself. I started like doing my own sort of research through internet, through some books. And I was like, okay, this something that I really like. So after seeing some of the materials of the course, for example, we reviewed Schwann cells, bioinformatic approaches as well, transcription factors. We honestly look a lot of things. So I was really happy to have that overview of the program. And afterwards, I decided like, hey, I really like, as I said in the beginning, I really like computer science. I really like bioinformatics. So perhaps I can do something like get that approach to what we're looking at. So my literature review was specifically on bioinformatic approaches in transcription factors and genomics. So at first, my professor, I remember telling him about the topic, and I was really confused, honestly, on what can I do. So we'd spend like 2 or 3 classes in looking what can I do or what is related to my interest. And he helped me a lot, and he recommended me to look for a paper specifically. And I looked for that paper. I reviewed the concepts that he suggested me to look for. And that was like the paper that I focused on during my research.
And did you say that did you have any kind of neurobiology, any experience with that topic or the other topics in school beforehand, or was CCIR kind of your first experience having a formal introduction to these topics?
Yeah, I think that it's kind of I have some of like a combination of both, I would say. So first of all, I reviewed some sort of terms by my own, not in my school, by my own. I remember in the pandemic doing like many courses. Honestly, I was like, okay, I should like take advantage of the online era, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take courses in Coursera, in EDX, and things like that. And I was like really enjoying them. But afterwards, I was like, time flew by, honestly, and it was like, okay, now can I do like, perhaps I can do something more to like get a deep understanding of neurobiology by itself. So I applied to a program and said like, okay, I should challenge myself, and that's how I started like remembering some concepts and also learning something new. So it was kind of a combination of both.
And then with your experience, you said this was your first time writing a formal research paper, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
What was your experience kind of overall with how both this program differed from kind of regular high school courses, and then also your experience with how your TA and your mentor kind of guided you through the process and helped you develop your research skills?
Yeah, of course. So that's a really good question, because I think that that was one of the main things that I first like questioned myself before starting the program. So how would this differ to what am I doing now, or my own research that I do, for example? And I think that firstly was having the support from, of course, faculty members of Cambridge. So I'm still so grateful for having their insight and support in all sort of during all the program. I was constantly getting feedback from them. I remember that, well, it's of course an academic enrichment program. So I was like getting immersed in all of this content about neurobiology. Like we had these lectures, we have also the OTA sessions, where in both we reviewed, well, the lectures, and in the TA sessions we reviewed different materials. So it was kind of really enriching sort of experience for me. And also, well, in these homeworks, we reviewed the conceptualized in the lectures and TA sessions, but in the homeworks we had to like, okay, now how can I apply or put everything that I understood in the class in that paper or in the homework. So that was kind of the challenge that I had. Honestly, it was getting used to these sort of sometimes advanced topics, but at the end of all, it was really nice.
Nice. It definitely is. I think most of the students that come into our program have that thought or that, kind of apprehension in the beginning, because most students have never done a research paper or a research project like this before, haven't embarked on kind of a having to do this level of research before. So it can be definitely a bit scary in the beginning. And our mentors, I think, really do help the students, and especially like you mentioned, they really guide you rather than telling you what topic to do. They make sure that it's something that's within your interests, which is really great. So about your paper and your topic itself, did you find anything that you weren't expecting to find, or can you talk us through your findings a little bit and kind of what it was like kind of putting those findings together and how it shaped your knowledge of the topic?
Yeah, of course. So I believe that it was really challenging for me at first. It was like, okay, for example, my professor is handing me this sort of document, this sort of paper that is, of course, developed by professionals, by scientists. So it's kind of, how can I, as a student, can analyze this paper? So I was like, okay, going through the data, going to the results, going to the conclusions, but also the figures. How can I analyze the figures? So it was kind of, okay, how can I do this? But afterwards, I think that the key thing that helped me a lot was asking a lot. It was like, how can I do this? It was not being afraid of asking questions, honestly. So if there's like perhaps a future student that is watching this, I would totally encourage them to not be afraid to ask questions. So like enjoy the sessions, the extra office hours sessions. I remember when I talked with a college student, and I remember like she recommended me like, hey Elisa, take advantage, for example, when you're in college, of the office hours. And now that I was like, of course not in college, but having these office hours, I took advantage of them, and it was so helpful. So I was able to ask all my questions, perhaps talk with the professor or my TA about some doubts that I had from the paper. So I tried to do that. And I also try to watch videos as well. Like, hey, how is like any other people analyzing, like for example, a paper? How can I do a good literature review? So I watch different tips, different sort of YouTubers doing this sort of tips that were really helpful for me.
Nice. And then just for everyone watching, when Elisa mentioned the office hours, so we have an office hours for our students that are in our Future Scholars program, because the program is a group course. So the office hours allows our students to kind of have some one-on-one time with the mentor each week, so they can really delve into whatever they need to within that time period, just them. So to talk about also, because this is a group course, can you speak a bit to kind of the benefits of working with other students and what your experience was like doing this with a few other peers?
Yeah, of course. So I think that that was really valuable for me to have like this sort of experience of getting to know more students around the world that are like really interested in this certain topic. In my case, neurobiology. Of course, we all were like having these sort of different approaches. Like perhaps some of us were like kind of I don't know, having an interest between neurobiology and also computer science, for example. But I had also some of my friends that were like kind of going to more focusing on medicine. So I really like that. I think that we could share different perspectives. The first sort of week, we kind of did this presentation or introductions of ourselves. So it was really nice to get to know, like, hey, do you have this different interest? We're from Poland, I would say, United States, and from Latin America. So I was like really, really happy to get to know all of them. And yeah, also throughout the lectures and the TA sessions, we kind of look at or advance or and also like track our activities of what we did and what we have done during the program. So it was kind of, oh, okay, so we're kind of in the same pace, or perhaps we're, I don't know, a little bit different. But it was really, really nice to share like or thoughts or discussions during the lectures and TA sessions.
Nice. And it is a very cool thing that almost all of our group courses, there are students from all over the world. So it is very fun to, you don't get those opportunities often to meet students outside of your school, let alone, from a different continent, which is very cool. And it comes with, so much new insight and different perspectives. And like you mentioned, different kind of interests. So to talk about both your research itself and then also doing this program, has it given you any insights into your future? Did it kind of solidify that this is the topic that you're interested in? Did it change anything for you in terms of your path moving forward?
Yeah, of course. Well, I think that I've been always like really focused into like going to science and technology, sort of, we can say like that. But this sort of program made me like really consider about like, hey, I really like that data analysis. I remember like we had to analyze neurons or axons throughout the program, and I was like, okay, this is going to be a sort of a long assignment to do. I spent, I don't know, 20 hours between analyzing like all the images. So I was like kind of I don't know, I don't know if this is going to be something that I like. But afterwards, it was like, I'm really liking this. Like, it was completely the opposite, I thought. So it was like, okay, I can analyze this sort of photos. We were using kind of a different program or platform that I never used before. So it was kind of, okay, I'm learning these different skills. I'm learning like how to do data analysis with these images, and that were real, taken from mice. So it was something completely new that I really enjoyed as well. And afterwards, I remember when doing, for example, or poster that we had to do, it was so nice to get to know like, hey, we sort of have the same sort of data analysis or images, but we all show different sort of ways to describe what we saw or ways to describe what we learned. So it was really enriching for me.
And then did you think about doing kind of trying to publish your work?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I think that at first I wasn't considering it because I was kind of scared about, perhaps it's not good enough. There's like kind of also like some frequent questions that you can perhaps question yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
But now I really think, well, some people have encouraged me like, hey, Lisa, you should try it out. So I'll definitely look for it. I think that now I'm going to get in touch with the Cambridge team to perhaps they can help me publish the sort of the literature review, and I will be really happy to do that.
Yeah, definitely. We do have our publication team, which is available to all of our students even after they've finished the program. Like you said, to help you with, all things related to the publication process. It is definitely a very daunting process, even if you've, been down it 10 times and have a lot of papers under your belt. Every time it is very scary. So it's good to have kind of our team there to support you and help you figure out, where to publish and all the things that you need to know. I just have a few more questions for you. If you were, let's say, chatting to a student who was wondering kind of what the benefits of doing a program like this or a project like this as a high school student, and was kind of on the fence about it, do you have any advice that you would give them about kind of in general what you the benefits that you got from doing this program?
Yeah, of course. So I would also like firstly suggest like that if you want to take this program, I completely encourage you to do so. But if you want to do it, I also suggest is to have like this sort of time, like available time for you. Like imagine like if the program says, I don't know, 6 hours, imagine 2 hours more. So you can have really good time to like study the things. I was fortunate enough to be my holidays here in Chile. So I have plenty of time and that helped me a lot, but also some of my classmates were kind of struggling with it. So I really suggested to like, hey, perhaps this time I'll be more, I don't know, have more availability for that. But yeah, in terms of like an overview of the program or what can I recommend to this other students is that you get to perhaps have the experience of doing a research. It's so fun. For me, it was my first experience. Perhaps for you, it's going to be also your first one. I think that also like chatting with the teachers and the professors is kind of also essential for me. And it was so because, well, I remember like the last sessions, I could talk with Miss Elisa. So she was RTA. And she was kind of like, hey, this like the way I got into neurobiology. She was kind of going to medicine. So we kind of, oh, that's really good to know because you can like get to know their experiences and how they could get involved into this area in general, more than just study sort of neurobiology, right? So kind of that experience of getting to know your professors and your teacher was also a nice experience. And yeah, I think that I get introduced into so many concepts. I really can mention them. And yeah, also, well, I don't speak English fluently, so I kind of was like getting adapt or immersed in new topics and new words that I didn't know at all. So it's kind of, okay, I'm learning new English words, but that were more into science. So yeah, there's of course a good background there that helped me a lot to get into this program really well.
Nice. I think that's really good advice. And definitely this program, you know, we do say in general, maybe a 6-hour limit, but it is one of those that you really do get out of it what you put into it. So if you are really interested in the topic and you want to, let's say, for example, when you mentioned looking at those slides and you spent, you know, a lot of hours looking at it, you really do get out what you put in. So if you are really interested in the topic, it's great if you're able to, you know, just put in as much as you want to and give more because you'll get out so much more. So that's about it. So thank you again so much for chatting to me, and congratulations again on your nomination to our Spotlight series.
No, it was my pleasure, Chola. So happy to be here. And perhaps some of the students that are watching us will be the next scholars. So really happy about it.